Hi everyone, welcome back to Stitchy Bee. Thank you for all your comments the other day about my lovely indie makes, and lots of you have asked me if you can see me wearing the ones that I didn't have on that day. So I've not quite finished the Tiramisu dress yet. If you remember, I said I'm altering that one, but I have got the sky wrap on, as you know, and this is what it looks like on. Forgive me, I'm wearing a summer dress with it, which doesn't quite go, but it's still quite warm up here. So there you go. I think the point's designed to sit in front, as is the back one, so you can have a fiddle with that. This is a little bit difficult to drape well because of the velvet lining. If you use a silkier lining or a lawn, you'll find it much easier to get that sitting right. But it's brilliant, isn't it? It's the kind of thing you can just throw on, go shopping on a Saturday, throw your bag over your arm, and it looks super stylish without too much of an effort. So you could wear something really plain underneath, like a white t-shirt and jeans, and then this would totally transform your outfit. Get me sounding like I know about fashion, which I don't, but I think it's a good way to dress up an outfit for outerwear, especially when it's not too cold, although this is really warm in these this combination of fabrics, which is a wool tweed mix and also a lovely stretch velour inside. As I mentioned last week, try and make your fabrics match so that you're not mixing a stretch with a woven. It will be easier, but lots of you suggested a great idea of using some stabilising tape, which you can apply to stretch fabrics to help them behave more like a woven. So give that a go if you are stuck with this decision like I was. But I love this colour, and I like the way the neck folds in a sort of cowl-like way, and you can play around with that so that it looks neater. But I've just thrown this one on now so that you can see. I hope you found that helpful. So do forgive me for wearing a summer outfit when we're talking about winter coats, but it's still quite warm here, and now's the time of year where you might be thinking about making your winter coat. I've got a coat on my Make 9 list for this year, and because they take a little bit longer than other items, then it's a good idea to start now for when the weather does get cold. So let's have a look at some coat fabrics that I've discovered, and these aren't them all, and you'll have some other favourites, but these are the ones that I found to be most useful and easy to sew with as well. So firstly, I'm going to talk about Melton Wool. Now, Melton Wool is not actually a wool. It tends to be an acrylic mixed fabric, but the beauty of it is that it's usually washable. Now, the ones that I buy are, and the ones I have in at the moment are, and I just think it's helpful, especially in a colour like this. This is only a tiny little remnant piece, but I'm showing you this shade because I think it shows it better on camera. I've also got this in a beautiful red, which I'll show you in a moment, and black. So it behaves like, it's almost like a felted wool, but it's not, so you can wash it, as I say, and it feels different. It's a lot softer, it's not itchy. I'm a bit of a wool freak. If I've got wool next to my skin, I find it really itchy, so I tend to go for something like this instead. And as you can see, it's quite thick. And I've had a different type of Melton Wool in before. It was a camel one, and it had a much higher wool content, but it was much thinner in weight. So when you're looking at these, check the weight on them. So this is 370 grams per square metre. So anything over 300 grams is going to feel and look like this one pretty much. And then the thinner ones will weigh a little bit less, I think. So just do have a look or ask for a sample from wherever you buy yours from. So this is the minty one, and there's probably just enough there for a couple of you to make it into a sky wrap perhaps. This is a gorgeous pillar box red Melton, and again exactly the same weight. Looks and feels like it's been felted, so like a heavily boiled wool or a felted wool, but it's not. It is much softer. It's got a viscose content as well, so that it feels super luxurious. And if you're not great at keeping coats clean in winter, then this is the one for you because you can wash it, don't have to worry about going to the dry cleaners, and it sews like a dream. It's really easy to sew. Just bear in mind on the seams with thick seams with other layers, you need to make sure that goes under your sewing machine okay. So just take that part slowly, but there's no reason why that wouldn't. It should be absolutely fine. I've also got this in black as well, which I'm thinking about making into my Sapporo coat from my Make 9 list, but I might bottle that. I might just go for the red. But yeah, it's nice to have a plain, and I really do need a black coat in my wardrobe, so I'll probably stick with it. And maybe a red lining, something like that. Next, this is a boucle. I call it a boucle anyway. I think it's a proper boucle, but it's a polyester based fabric that looks like wool, behaves like wool, slightly drapier, and the inside of this one is particularly really soft, so you don't have to line this. You probably should, but if you wanted to make a coatigan or something like that, then this would work really well. But look how gorgeous the colours are, and all that is, it's almost embroidered in. If you can have a look at the detail of that one. And this one I've called All the Blues Boucle, and this has just come into stock. So this would make a perfect coat, maybe a lovely cocoon coat, something that requires a little bit of drape and softness to it. You wouldn't want to make a structured coat from this, but it'd be perfect for something cosy. Sorry, I'm out of breath. I keep running up and downstairs to get the fabric. I've got loads of fabric stored downstairs at the moment, because I'm actually moving out of this office, because you probably know I've outgrown it a long time ago. So I'm really excited to be moving out so that I can bring you more fabric, because I'm pretty much maxed out here now. So yeah, watch this space. In a couple of weeks I'll let you have a look as well. Okay, next on the boucle is this. This is amazing. I know it's probably glaring your screen a little, but this is an Ivory Boucle, and I couldn't resist. So think French style jacket with some black trim and gold buttons. This is why I bought this. It's completely self-indulgent, I know. None of you would be daft enough to wear a white jacket in winter, I'm sure, but I'm a bit of a white coat obsessive. I have 2 ready-to-wear ones, and I love them. I'm fairly good at keeping them white as well, but I do like to buy the washable ones, so I don't have to wash them too often, but they do wash when you need to. So this boucle is a widely woven fabric, and I'll try and show you. You can just see, maybe I'll pop a still up here. I'll keep it back here, so you probably need sunglasses on at the moment, don't you? But yeah, think French style jacket. It's a tiny bit sheer, so you would need to line this, and it could be a skirt or some trousers, or even some drapey trousers like palazzo pants. They'd be pretty warm, but you could do it, you could. So yeah, this would make a beautiful jacket or a coat, but yeah, just think about the lining. But yeah, I really love this. But that's another alternative, that you don't always have to go down the dark colours route. Now if you want something a bit more classic, then a cotton might be for you. This is a particularly high quality stretch cotton actually, but it's not so stretchy that it would cause you a problem when you sew it if you chose it for a coat. So for this I'm thinking trench coats really. I just think it would be beautiful. I think the colours would be crisp enough with this weight of fabric. So you need a reasonably lightweight fabric, don't you, for a trench. And look at the beautiful sheen. It's not shiny, but it's got that effect, hasn't it? I'll show you up close. This also comes in black as well, and I chose these two. When I bought this, I thought about fitted trousers, skinny trousers, that kind of thing, or even make a pair of trousers from a jeans pattern perhaps in this. It's stretchy on the bias and widthways, but not lengthways, so that may help you when coat making as well. But it's just beautiful, a real classic piece that'll last in your wardrobe for ages. Next, you could go for a wool mix fabric, which looks like wool, it feels like wool, but it's not wool. It's about 10% wool, So it has the content of that, but it does allow you to be able to wash it and care for it a little bit easier than a pure wool fabric. And it's cheaper as well, much cheaper. So this is a gorgeous tartan. I've called this Scottie Tartan for obvious reasons. It's beautiful, isn't it? A real classic piece. Just watch your directional print here. So it's got checks, hasn't it? So that could come in really handy if you were making something like a French style jacket with visible quilting lines. But yeah, just look at the lines of your coat. So if you've got any darts or anything like that that might mess with the lines of this pattern, bear that in mind. And that goes for any printed fabric for coat patterns as well. So look at the pattern, think about where the darts are, think about how you're going to match the pockets. If you've got patch pockets on there, you'll need to line them up, which is quite fun and pretty easy with a print this big. But yeah, that's a good tip. This would make a lovely mini skirt as well. I need to find a good mini skirt pattern. If you know of any, let me know. Something really simple with pockets that you can throw on. Like this would be great with a navy jumper, really simple, and maybe some thick black tights and flat shoes. That would be brilliant. But yeah, this would make a beautiful coat. Next, we've got a different type of fabric. So I've called this just a printed or a different type of polyester or an other type of fabric that may not be advertised as coat fabric. But you could think, yes, I could make that. So for example, my black coat that I need, if I wanted something a little bit less plain, I could choose something like this. Now this is a flocked velvet flock fabric, and it's almost got that burnout effect on it, so it is a little bit sheer. Can you see? So I'm not sure. I think if you wore something dark underneath you'd be fine, but you would need, for a coat you'd need a dark lining, and also you could turn this into a beautiful pencil skirt for winter, or you could turn it into some trousers and it would be really nice. But I thought for a different style of coat, this is beautiful. So that's a poro coat that I've got planned. I might consider this over the black Melton. I think it might be a good idea actually. So yeah, just be a bit careful when you wash it, and be careful when you iron it because it'll probably catch. So you'll definitely need a pressing cloth with this. And I test it. So I've got it down as a cool wash, but I just want to see how that flock behaves. So if you do buy anything like this, just cut off a little square and wash it and dry it and then see how it is. I definitely wouldn't tumble dry it, but I think it's probably a bit more robust than you think. But wouldn't it make a lovely coat? And in a similar way to the different types of fabric, you could also make something like this. Now this is actually furnishing fabric, which I bought from Denim, which is a shop in the UK that sells curtains and blinds and homewares. And this is my Chloe coat. I have got a video on this and I'll pop a link to it below, but I'll wear it just to show you. It's such a beautiful fit. But you can use different types of fabric like this. Now the downsides to this type of fabric is that it creases when you sit down. You can kind of see a little bit. It's a little bit stiff. I'll stand back a bit so you can see it again if you've not seen it. It's so nice. It's lovely to be able to make sleeves long enough, isn't it? Or short enough or to fit. And the pockets, I think are pattern matched. Did I? Oh no, I didn't, because there's a dart. So this is what I mean about thinking about the print being disturbed. So I don't think it matters too much on here, but it does affect the flow. I think it actually can flatter as well. It looks like the waist comes in. But yeah, you could use these, but just be a little bit mindful that that's not what they're intended for, but there's no reason why you can't. And of course, don't forget your linings. So in this case, I must have a thing about grey satin lining. It's nice and neutral, isn't it? But I lined this in a satin, and that's really easy to slip on and off. You could use cotton lawns to line your coats. You could use all sorts of different types, but think about what you're wearing and does it need to slip on? So if you've got a woolly jumper on and you line it with a cotton, for example, it's probably not going to go on that easy. I've got one of my white ready to wear coats is lined with a black jersey, and every time I put my arm in, it pokes out the end and I've got to tuck it back in, and that's ready to wear. So you just have a think about how it's going to be worn. I'll show you some types of satin as well that you could use for linings. So here you go. These are typical lining satins. I wouldn't want to make a top out of one of these. You could, but yeah, they're perfect for lining. That's a grey one. You could choose a nice, beautiful navy one. That could go with many colours, couldn't it? Or one of my favourite colours, a dusky pink. Sorry, it's blinding you a bit, isn't it? But yeah, these are pretty inexpensive, and yeah, you need to think about that too. So with the Chloe coat, for example, from memory, I think it's over 3 meters of fabric that you need. So you need 3 meters of outer fabric and 3 meters of lining. It soon adds up, doesn't it? So I've got these few bits in, but you can get lots of satins on eBay as well if you wanted a bigger range of colours. It's one of those things that you can risk buying on eBay. You don't need to worry too much about the quality, because satin is satin. Although if you buy fabric on eBay that's called lining satin, often it's a lesser quality than this. So I can't remember the correct term that I've seen on eBay for these types of satins, but don't get the absolute cheapest. Get the one that's a little bit higher up, and you'll get something like this, which is really quite nice. But as I say, I've got these few meters in if you wanted some from me. I'll pop links to everything underneath if you wanted any of these fabrics. There's plenty of the boucles in as well. I've got lots of other new fabrics in today as well. I've got some amazing denims in. Oh my goodness, let me just show you this. So I've been looking for the best black denim for really skinny trousers. So the problem is a lot of the stretch denims that I've discovered aren't quite stretchy enough for really skinny trousers or really skinny jeans. But this one is amazing. It's a really dark jet black denim, and the polyester content is not too high. So you know, sometimes when you turn over the denim and you get that horrid polyestery feel. I know, you know, I'm funny about how things feel, so I always put that in my descriptions online. It's totally self-indulgent because I like things that are soft. So pretty much most things that you buy from me will be safe to wear and not feel itchy. But look at this, it's gorgeous. It's got a really good stretch. I think the stretch is in all directions. Yeah, maybe not so much vertically, but yeah, width ways. And on the bias, it's amazing. But look how good that is. So yeah, really excited to have discovered that, and so I put that on the site today. So if you've got any skinny jeans in your plans, don't always think about blue, because you can choose white in summer or black as well. I've also got an amazing ochre yellow one that's like a cross between an ochre and a mustard. That's great. That's not a stretch one. That would be really good for denim skirts and things like that. I've got that denim skirt pattern from the first Sew Over ebook, the City Break one, and I can't remember the name of the pattern, but I've really fancied making it from there. And you know those coat buttons that I put on the site a couple of weeks back, they would look beautiful down the front. They're quite large for a skirt, but I quite like them. They would look lovely down the front of a skirt with that colour. So these are brown, they'd look really good next to the yellow. Okay, just a little insight into wintry coat fabrics. I hope that's helped. But yeah, let me know what you're sewing. Pop your comments below, and I always reply to everybody, as you know. I really enjoy it, so thank you so much, because you take the time to respond to me, so it's the least I can do. Anyway, you take care, and I'll see you next week. I'm not quite sure what we'll talk about next week, but I might make one of the new Sew Over ebook patterns. I've got my eye on that Edie top. I'm drawn to it because my nan was called Edie, and I absolutely loved her to death. She's not with us anymore, bless her, but yeah, I think I'll be choosing that first. So we'll see how we go. Anyway, you take care. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.